the water after dark. It's a beautiful tour at night as well. Got life jackets for everybody under the center bench. No smoking or vaping on board, and just stay seated as we're underway. Got Captain Randy at the wheel. I'm your mate Jono. We also have coolers on board with drinks for sale too. We have bottles of water for $3, coconut Coke for $4, and we have beer. We have Miller Lite, Coors Light for $7, Corona for $8, and then we have canned cocktails as well. If you're interested, just raise your hand, let me know. Our first stop coming up is stop number 9, Shooters. And we'll see if there's anybody to join us, and we'll continue on our way.
Look at some of the nice homes, waterfront property. Oh, they got some big ships down in there, big boats.
All right, welcome to the new folks that joined us. I just sent the tickets to your phones. So if you pull up those texts, you'll get barcodes. Those are your tickets. When you get off our boat, get on another boat today. You'll show them those barcodes. Got Captain Randy at the wheel. I'm your mate Jono, and we're on the water taxi Bayview. It's one of 6 that we have out on the water today. The boats are running about a half an hour apart or so at each of the stops, and the boat service runs until 10 p.m. tonight. We've got life jackets for everybody under the center bench. No smoking or vaping on board, and just stay seated as we're underway. So we are now traveling on the Intracoastal Waterway. We're heading south, and we should be to Miami in about 8 hours. Are you on the wrong boat? Now we're going to hit all the stops along the way. Do you all need maps? Do you all have maps? Got it. So we got 10 stops to make along the way. I'm going to tell you about each of the stops. I don't like those boats. Looks like a slice of dirty cheesecake. Now this is the poor end of town. Don't get excited about these houses. We're going to see the real houses when we get further down. So this Intracoastal Waterway that we're traveling on right now, this is a boat highway. It runs up and down the east coast of the United States, parallel to the Atlantic Ocean, right over there to the left. So it's an alternate route for boats that need to make that north-south trip. They don't want to get out in the ocean and deal with the wind and the waves and the weather. They can make that trip here. It's a lot more calm and protected. The north end of the inland portion of this waterway starts up in Norfolk, Virginia, at the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay. And it's going to travel south inland all the way down to Miami. And see, on both sides of the waterway, we've got these canals. These are man-made canals as well, residential canals. You see, everybody gets waterfront property. Everyone gets to keep their boats right outside their back door. Now, one thing that affects property value in Fort Lauderdale is proximity to the ocean. Even though the ocean is right over there to the left on the other side of those buildings, by boat, we're very far from the ocean right now. To get to the ocean, you've got to take this waterway down to an inlet that will connect the waterway over the ocean. And the closest inlet for us is down in Port Everglades near Stop 4. That's about a 45-minute boat ride from here. So say one of these boats wants to head out to the ocean, maybe they want to make a run over to the Bahamas, do some fishing. You've got a 45-minute boat ride. So the closer you get to the inlet, the more expensive the houses are. When we get down there near Stop 4, near the inlet, those houses are going to be $30 million, $40 million, $50 million, and up. We have one for sale right now for $88 million.
$88 million.
Not that these are cheap up here, but definitely a lot less expensive. And you also notice these houses sell, they get torn down, and new houses go up in their place. People don't renovate houses here. They'd rather tear them down and start over. I don't know, the black roof on a house in Florida, that's kind of silly. You wouldn't like that electricity bill when you got it done. One thing you'll notice too are these seawalls protecting the properties. They passed a new law raising the minimum height requirement of seawalls due to rising waters and flooding that we get here. I'll go over here at this new house on the left. See how much higher their seawall is than the neighbors there? So when you pull a building permit to build a new house, you've got to raise that seawall up to the new height. The rest of these existing homes are going to have until 2028 to complete that project. Not cheap to do it either. It costs about $2,000 per linear foot to raise your seawall. The mainland side of Fort Lauderdale is over here on the right. This is a beautiful neighborhood named Coral Ridge. On the left side is the barrier out on the ocean side. If you live on the left side, you can walk over to the beach. If you live on this side, you've got to drive over. Big hardship for these poor people. estate up here. There's a ranch style house, single story house coming up here, white. They've got an orange construction fence around the pool. That one just sold for $5 million. So like I said, this is the cheap end of town. Over on the left, that is the Hugh Taylor Birch State Park right there. 188 acres. That's what this area looked like before development. The property is oceanfront on the other side. There's a beautiful beach there. It's all of our native plants and animals. We've got about 5 miles of walking trail through the property as well. That's going to be our next stop coming up, stop number 8. Now here comes another one of our water taxis. If you want to build a dream house, we got an empty lot for sale for you right here. That empty lot is for sale for $4 million.
I'd rather get the house for $5 million.
Here's one of the original houses on the right here, yellow with the white roof. I'll tell you what, I'd be happy with that house just the way it is. I wouldn't tear that down.
Hold that.
Perfect. Not a lot of boats out on the water today. It is our low season right now. Our high season is in the winter, basically Thanksgiving until Easter. Now it's hurricane season. A lot of the houses are just people's winter homes, so they close them up, go up north for the summer. And a lot of the boats clear out of Fort Lauderdale as well during the hurricane season. Now here's the seawall getting worked on. You see why it costs so much. You've got to bring in a barge and a crane to do that work on the water side of the property. Another one for sale here. Now this one's been on the market for a long time. It's listed for $8.5 million.
$8 million.
Now if I was going to buy one of these houses and tear it down and build a new one, I would do what these next couple of houses over here on the right have done. Take one of this white house up on the roof. They've got a roof deck. They've got a beautiful view of the ocean over the park. Unobstructed view, and that will never go away. Great idea. Same with this next house coming up with the red trim. They've got an even bigger roof deck up on top.
It's like an office building. Oh, KFC.
Now let me see if the owner's outside before I make a comment about this house. Doesn't that look like a Target?
Target.
That too.
They you a lot right there.
Yeah, I take it.
This next peninsula coming up over here on the right, this is all condominiums and apartments and townhouses. One of the original old buildings here on the end. We see these 2 new buildings behind it. Sell these old buildings, buy everybody out, knock them down, and build new buildings. Now we're at the end of the speed zone, so these boats are supposed to slow down. We won't get knocked around anymore. Good thing about the design of this particular boat, though, the bottom is just like the top. So if one of these wakes flips us over, in about 10 seconds, we're going to roll right back up again. It's really reassuring, isn't it? Now here's one that was just torn down last week. Beautiful house, sold for $7 million. It went from side to side. It was a huge house. And when they tore it down, we looked at what was left. That lot is so tiny. Look at how small that lot is. And the house went side to side. So stop number 8, the park is coming up. Anybody want to get off at the park? All right, we'll see if there's anybody to join us. Now here's an interesting house. Recently finished. Look across the water there on the far right. You'll see that giant black glass house there. Very modern house. And if you look at the roof of that house, you'll see all the roof decks up on top of that. The one in the middle is a helicopter landing pad. We don't know the owners of all the houses. A lot of them are buried in like LLCs and things. And there's not celebrities here either. The celebrities are down in Miami or up in Palm Beach. This is mostly business folks.
That'd be nice. You come in there with your helicopter.
Yeah, you know those neighbors love the little boat train helicopter. Coming up on the right here, this is the first marina we hit as we head south. This marina is going to be pretty full. That's because these are Fort Lauderdale full-time year-round residents here. These folks might not have a dock at their house, so they're able to join the Coral Ridge Yacht Club and keep their boats at this marina. Beautiful day, isn't it? We're getting a nice breeze. Not a lot of people out on the water yet. So there's the Coral Ridge Yacht Club right over there on the right. One of the oldest yacht clubs in Fort Lauderdale. It was founded in the early 1940s. And the first commodore of this yacht club was Charles Walgreen of Walgreen's Pharmacy.
Man, that blue boat got a lot of engines.
Got another marina over here on the right. See the yachts are parked in different directions. That's a small exclusive marina named Sunrise Harbor. It's also a big boat marina. Any boat that parks here needs to be over 85 feet long. If you're in the market for a yacht, we got one for sale for you over here. I'll point out Yacht Maverick, right here on the end closest to us. That's an Italian-built yacht built by Mangusta Shipyards, and she's for sale now for $35 million.
$35 million.
And if you give them a good offer, they'll throw in that little lightweight boat parked out front there for you too. Now don't even laugh at that little lightweight boat. That's about a $700,000 boat right there. Boats are a lot more expensive than you realize. Oh no, some of these yachts have helicopter landing pads, so you can go from your house to your yacht. So our next stop coming up is on the other side of the bridge. It's stop number 7, Doubletree Hotel and the Galleria 1 shopping mall. It's an indoor shopping mall. It's air conditioned. Got about 120 shops in there, anchored by Macy's and Dillard's. Great restaurants in the mall, and their food court and around the mall as well. This Does anybody want to get off at stop 7? Yeah, see it all, see it all. Now, before we picked you four up, they thought they were on a private yacht, and they didn't even want us to stop and get you. They said, keep going.
Galleria 1.
Welcome aboard to the new folks here on the water taxi Bayview. Got Captain Randy at the wheel. I'm your mate Jono, and we are heading south in numbers. We got life jackets for everybody under the center bench. Kid-sized life jackets right behind the captain. No smoking or vaping on board, and just stay seated while we're underway. Make our way down in numbers. If you take a look over here on the left, you'll see some more green space. That property is about 35 acres. It's oceanfront on the other side. And in the middle of that property is a beautiful plantation-style mansion that was built in 1920. That is now open to the public to tour, and it's called the Bonnet House Museum and Gardens. It's open every day of the week but Monday. Beautiful property to check out, beautiful old house, beautiful gardens around there. One of my favorite spots in Fort Lauderdale. That property is the last stretch of natural shoreline on the Intracoastal Waterway in Fort Lauderdale. Those trees along the waterline look like fingers going into the water. Those are mangrove trees. They serve a couple of purposes. They hold that land together, or they're a natural storm surge protection, and they also are a nursery for sea animals. high-rises in the background. These original shorter buildings closer to us. But there used to be a building code on the island, and it said that no building could be built taller than the tallest palm tree. They knew that the palm trees survived the hurricanes, and they thought that the buildings would as well. Didn't always work out that way. Now, if you look over here on the right, you'll see these two ranch-style houses, those single-story houses. That's what this whole neighborhood.
Look at the windmills up on top.
As these sell, you see what happens. They get torn down, and these modern new houses are going up in their place. Now, back in the '60s, when those were new, those were selling for $250,000. Now here's another one of the original houses over here on the right. It's kind of blue color. That one just sold for $8.5 million.
$8.5 million. In Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
This one, I'm not a fan. There's too many of them. When we get down here, you'll see. Well, I feel, for me personally, that we're losing our kind of architectural heritage. A lot of these modern houses are going up. They are beautiful, and you do get a great view with them, for sure, too. We get down here, there's some amazing, huge versions of that coming up, too. Right up ahead, you'll see the waterway got much wider. If we were to turn right here, we'd get on the middle river. Now, it's a natural body of water. It flows inland westward over to the Everglades. But we're going to stay left and stay on the intracoastal waterway, continue south. We're getting close to the inlet, closer to the inlet going out to the ocean, so the property values are going up. And you can see that right away. Look how much bigger these houses are getting over here. That big, beautiful yellow one in the middle there, that one just sold for $24 million. And most of these houses we'll see on the rest of the tour are vacation homes. Either people's winter homes or their Florida homes, second, third, and fourth property. A lot of them are closed up for the summer. Over on the right, you'll see this yellow house on the corner. That's owned by the Sorensen family. They made their fortune in marine electronics. Believe it or not, they only use that house for about 2 weeks each year in the winter. The rest of the time, that house is empty. Right side, the Sorensen's neighborhood. This is an exclusive neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale called Seven Isles, and it's named for the 7 peninsulas that make up the neighborhood. And what's unique about this neighborhood is that every single home is waterfront. So on each of these peninsulas, there's a road down the middle, houses on either side, and they're all waterfront. The second house gets the whole end of the peninsula to himself. That's owned by John Evans, who is the founder of C-SPAN, the cable news network. Over on the right, we've got this empty lot on the corner. Now, there was a for sale sign on there. They took it down the other day. It was listed for $18 million. Wow. Again, the prices are going up. The closer we get to that inlet, the more expensive the property gets. at this boat on a lift here. Got four 450 horsepower Mercury racing engines on the back of that. One engine alone is about $80,000. Got a house for sale over here on the right for you. Double twisted columns out front. That was originally built for Ted Turner and Jane Fonda. Although they never got to live in the house, they got divorced before it was finished. So it's turned over a couple of times since then. It's currently on the market again now for $25 million. That's an enormous property. Look how it rocks. Goes down the canal there. This orange one coming up with the orange tile roof. Beautiful house. That's owned by a member of the Pillsbury family, like Pillsbury Dough. And that's Leyland Pillsbury's house.
Pillsbury Doughboy. Woo-hoo.
So in front of us is the Los Olas Boulevard Bridge. Any bridge crossing over the waterway opens up somehow to let boats through. This is a drawbridge, opens up every half hour. If we were to turn right on the bridge and we go inland westward about 2 miles, we're going to end up in downtown Fort Lauderdale. Now you're going to see the skyline coming up here in just a second. At the base of the tallest building on the skyline is our stop number 1, and we'll be there in about an hour. If you turn left on the bridge and go about 500 yards, you hit the beach, the boardwalk, our oceanfront promenade. So this is where all the shops and restaurants and bars are along the beach. Lots of great restaurant options, anything from pizza and hot dogs all the way up to the Ritz-Carlton. There's even a Taco Bell there with a liquor license. Lots of fun bars too, like the Elbow Room, Blondie's, Quarterdeck, Senior Frogs. There's even a 4-story open-air oceanfront mall called Beach Place there. And you can get to all that from our next stop coming up, stop number 6. Right up ahead here on the left, you'll see that unusual tower. That's located at the International Swimming Hall of Fame, and that is their diving tower. The highest platform on the tower is just shy of 90 feet high, and that's where the U.S. Olympic diving team practices in the winter. And that's where our stop number 6 is, next stop. So if you wanted to hop off or walk along the beautiful oceanfront promenade, get something to eat or drink, get some souvenirs, this would be your stop. Over on the left, you'll see this channel here. At the end of the channel is a very popular waterfront restaurant called Coconut Seafood Restaurant. Was anybody interested in getting off at number 6, Beach Boardwalk? All right. right, welcome aboard to our new guests that joined us. You are on the water taxi Bayview. Got Captain Randy at the wheel. I'm your mate Jono. Got life jackets for everybody underneath the center bench. Kid-sized life jackets behind the captain. No smoking or vaping on board, and just remain seated while we're underway. We are continuing south now. Beautiful marina over here on the left, the Bahia Mar Yachting Center. One of the biggest marinas in South Florida with about 250 boat slips. Now you see this boat coming up towards us on the left here. This is the Jungle Queen. The Jungle Queen is our competition, so do not wave to those people over there. Don't even look over there. So Yacht Subat over there, that's an American-built yacht built by Trinity Shipyards in Louisiana. Now normally, in the wintertime, this length of dock that we're looking here is lined with amazing super yachts. And they've all cleared out for hurricane season and gone to the Mediterranean. And they'll spend the summer over there, returning to Fort Lauderdale around Thanksgiving.
Yeah, he's got 5 boats. He's got 4 in the water and 1 up.
You look over here on the right, got another beautiful exclusive waterfront neighborhood. This one is called Idlewild. And if you take a look at that neighborhood, what's different about that one than the other ones we've gone by? See, there's a street in front of the houses. Those poor people have to walk all the way across the street to get to their boats. I would never live there.
Yeah, right.
Gary V, you know what to do. Sir, I don't want to see you waving again. Coming up on the left, got a couple of charter boats to point out to you. If you've ever seen that show on TV, Below Deck, about the charter business, that means you can rent one of these entire yachts out. Yacht Liberty, for example, about 190 feet long. She'll take 12 guests out for an all-inclusive week-long trip, maybe cruising through the Caribbean or the Bahamas. She starts at $405,000 a week to go out on that. You're on the water taxi today for $40. Next one coming up, privately owned, Yacht W. She's about 170 feet long. This yacht was built by Fedship. You'll see their logo at the very back end here. Fedship is the Royal Dutch Shipyard in Holland. They're the most exclusive, most desirable yacht builder in the world. It's custom built for 5 years, cost the owner $80 million. Now, you know he wants to keep an eye on his investment. He lives across the water here in that modern white mansion over there. He doesn't have enough room in front of his house to park W over there. So he keeps W at this marina, and it costs $25,000 a month to park. We're going to make our way into the marina to our next stop coming up, which is stop number 5. Stop number 5 is the closest stop to the beach. The beach is directly across the street. Anybody interested in getting off at stop number 5? Again, you'll see a lot of empty parking spots in the marina right now. As I said, the big yachts head over to the Mediterranean for the summer. Smaller yachts head up the East Coast. They'll go to places like Annapolis and Newport, Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket. right, folks, this is stop number 5. Nobody's getting off, but it looks like we have some people to pick up here. We'll pull in here and get them. Remember the ocean's right behind us there, and about 47 miles to the east are the Bahamas, and a real quick boat ride from here. So in the wintertime, these boats just go back and forth, taking boats through the Bahamas. And folks, again, all these yachts that we're looking at have full-time live-aboard crew on them. These folks live on the boat, take care of the boat when they're underway, taking care of the guests. When they're tied up here, they're always doing a maintenance project. Now, Sundays, they get the day off. A yacht like W, for example, has a full-time live-aboard crew of 12 people. As a matter of fact, Captain Randy here lives right under this center bench. I pulled him out this morning at 7:30. We'll tuck him back in there tonight. This next stretch of waterway coming up we call Billionaires Row for all the amazing houses we're going to see. Before we get to the houses, I want to point out a tree. If you look over here on the right, you'll see the big tree behind the palm trees. That's a tropical banyan tree. It's about 120 years old. And what's unique about banyan trees are the roots. The roots don't start in the ground. They start from the limbs above and drop down. So when we go by, you can see the roots around the center of the tree. The tree is sitting in the yard of this white house over here on the right. I want y'all to pay attention to this house as we go by. I'm going to point something out to you. We got this side of the house facing us on the waterway here. Look at that bird of paradise bush in bloom right over there. So there's a canal coming up. There's another banyan tree. So look down this canal as we go by. Look on the right side of the canal, about halfway down. You see the boat with the red cover on it down there? This house goes all the way down to the red boat. Here, all the way down. That's a lot of backyard. Got an empty lot over here on the right. Big old iguana sitting up on the seawall there. This used to have the most beautiful house in Fort Lauderdale. It was an 85-year-old mansion built by the situation here. 9 times out of 10, these mansions sell, they're gonna knock them down and build a new one. Nobody wants a used mansion. I want one. Over here on the right, the last house on the end with a terracotta tile roof. That's owned by the family that owns Honey Baked Hams. Over on the left, if anybody's in the market for a house, got one for you right over here to look at. This white modern mansion takes up the entire end of the peninsula there. If you look at the roof of that house, you'll see all the solar panels on top. That house is entirely solar powered. It's completely off the grid. No electricity bill. And you're all in luck, they just lowered the price as well. It was $98 million and they dropped it down to
$98 million.
So now's your chance. Remember, there's no electricity bill, so that will totally help out with your mortgage. Across the water there, you'll see that row of cream-colored houses with the terracotta tile roof. That is not a townhouse community. That's one house. It's about 20,000 square feet, and only 2 people live in that house. It's a married couple. They've been married over 50 years. Do you think that has something to do with it? Haven't seen each other in about 6 years. Coming up over here on the right, see all these boats at anchor over here. There used to be an island over here and it got blown away by a hurricane. All that remains is a shallow sandbar. You can see people in the water over there. When the tide goes out, that gets about knee deep, ankle deep over there. And you'll see on the weekends, folks come in, drop anchor, hang out and party. We've got food truck boats, swim up and get your lunch, bar boats, ice cream boats. And we call this Beer Can Island. See all these people swimming around here too. Completely unaware of the bull shark circling them right now. Captain Randy will not go in there and drop anchor. So we're making a left turn here. We're heading down the basin, and we're going to get to stops 3 and 4. They're at Dog Lake South. After stops 3 and 4, we're going to come back up this way and pick up the New River and head into downtown Fort Lauderdale for stops 1 and 2. I want to tell you about stop 4 before we get there. Stop number 4 is the transfer stop to get on our boat to take you down to Hollywood Beach. That's included with your water taxi ticket. So our boat, the Island Fiesta, departs from stop 4, makes a beautiful 45-minute ride down the Intercoastal Waterway, and it goes down to Hollywood Beach. Real cool old Florida beach town. It ties up at the Margaritaville Resort there. Sandy floor, tiki huts, the whole tropical vibe. And then 1 block away is Hollywood Beach itself, beautiful beach. And they've got their own oceanfront boardwalk called the Broadwalk, with a lot of great shops and restaurants. Can't recommend this trip enough. I get to do it once a week. It's my favorite day of the week. That boat departs from stop number 4 every odd hour. The next one's at 1 o'clock. This is the perfect time to do that. If we got here at 1:15, you'd have to wait till 3 o'clock to get the next one. And then it returns from Hollywood every even hour. It's just one boat going back and forth. And then it'll drop you back off at stop number 4. You can pick up another one of these boats and do the rest of your Fort Lauderdale trip. And again, your tickets today are good till 10 o'clock tonight. So if you've got some time, you want to check out Hollywood Beach, I definitely recommend it. It's a beautiful ride down there. You look over here on the left, we're about to be overtaken by pirates. Bluefoot pirate boat, you have to rent it out for kids' birthday parties. So right in front of us is 17th Street Causeway Bridge, one of the tallest drawbridges in South Florida. On the other side of the bridge is Port Everglades. So if you've been riding with us for a while, I keep talking about the inlet to get out to the ocean. I said all those boats have to come, this is where they have to go, all the way down here. So this ride that we've made, that's what they need to do to get out to the ocean. Because these houses around the basin are closest to that inlet, these are some of the most desirable and expensive properties in Fort Lauderdale. Also, Port Everglades is our cruise ship port. We have one cruise ship in town today. Again, hurricane season, not too many boats come in. In the wintertime, we get up to 11 cruise ships a day. Makes us one of the busiest cruise ship ports in the world. How many people are thinking about doing the Hollywood trip? We got you. So we're going to have an ambassador at Stop 4 to greet us. His name is Nelson there today, and Nelson will answer your questions and get you on that Hollywood boat. For those that are staying on board, once we get rid of these people, the real fun part of the tour will begin. Yeah, over here on the right, this waterfront restaurant is going to be our next stop, stop number 3. We're going to 4 and then come back up to 3. This is the 15th Street Fishery, real casual waterfront restaurant, dockside dining as you can see there. That main floor open for lunch, dinner, and happy hour. One of our favorite spots on the water. Because we're so close to that inlet, these marinas on both sides of us, this is where the biggest boats come to Fort Lauderdale will hang out. Now, a couple of months ago, we had Jeff Bezos from Amazon. His brand new yacht, Kuru, just made a trip across the Atlantic, landed in Fort Lauderdale. This yacht was 430 feet long. You remember W back there, 170 feet long. Ramble on over there, that white one, 150 feet long. His 430 feet long. It was so big it couldn't park in a marina. It parked down here with the cruise ships. It parked in the cruise ship port. So this is going to be our stop number 4. Just stay seated. We do get knocked around at this stop. And for those getting off, thank you very much for riding with us. Our pleasure to have you on board today. Enjoy your trip down there. Maybe we'll see you on the way back. And again, for this stop and all of our stops, just stay seated, please. And folks, we appreciate any tips you leave behind in our tip bucket on the way out. Big part of our income today. We thank you for dropping something off. Here's Nelson to greet us.